in highways in Florida, you don't see many trees like this. Never kids.
Whenever you go down, was it I-26 or I think I-40 or I-26? Y'all need to stop by Hot Springs, North Carolina.
Oh.
It is lovely, especially in the winter, but you have to be careful when you travel on the road. It's so curvy.
Oh, really?
It's like in the mountains.
Is it the wilderness or?
Yes, but it's like a small town.
Yeah.
I swear when I was driving there, because I had to get a detour.
Why?
Because that rock slide
Oh,
a while back on I-40,
yeah.
and we had to take another route.
Yeah.
And I wound up going to Hot Springs. And what was so funny was, like, I went through Hot Springs. The winter, I took a picture. It's on Facebook. I took a picture, like, of how nice it looked, but it was dangerous. I slid on one of the curves, you know, and where the thing was going down, and I stopped myself, and there was a truck that stopped, and one dude rolled down his window, like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah."
One car, two cars.
One.
Okay.
It was like some dude in the truck. But other than that, I was like, okay, because you know it was not many people on that road anyway. But still, you know, who would be down on that road? You know, not many people on the road, so I guess no salt trucks get on that road as often.
Oh, that's right. Did you drive from Carolina back to Lexington?
Yes.
And what city were you in?
Columbia.
Columbia. So it's a very small town, huh?
No, Columbia is big.
Oh, really?
Big. It's bigger. I think it's one of the
Charleston?
bigger. I think so. Bigger than Charleston. Maybe, maybe not. I think because it's the capital.
Is it closer to Charleston, Myrtle Beach, or?
No, because Myrtle Beach is like an hour and a half away, I think.
Oh, okay.
And I was an hour and a half away from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And it's bigger than Lexington, basically. It is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's bigger than Lexington.
Definitely.
just to say that. What I found out about folks, and no matter what state, you're always gonna find that person who wants to get out of their home state.
Oh.
I was at a conference this year, and I was like paying for something in the gas station, and the lady noticed I was in Kentucky by the license.
Yeah.
She was like, "What are you doing in South Carolina?" I was like, "I was for a conference. I saw her for a conference, and like, do you know?" And I asked her about, you know, do you want to live in South Carolina? She was like, no. Like, she'd rather be somewhere else, like Florida or something like that. And I basically told her, you know, there's people in Kentucky who don't want to be in Kentucky.
That's right.
You know, one of my friends, he left Kentucky. Another friend, she despised Kentucky or whatever. She don't want to step foot in Kentucky anymore. And I'm like, what Kentucky? Was it the people or was it the state? You know,
Well,
like no, not
there's always
everybody.
people like that everywhere.
Not everybody can be New York or Los Angeles or New Orleans or Chicago. You know, not everybody can be Miami. You know, it's like, why do you want to live in some of those places? You know, that's another thing. And there's the harsh reality of, if you're trying to live in Atlanta, you may not be able to afford it.
True.
You know, if you want to live in those cities or whatever your dream place is, you may not be able to afford it, and then you wind up, you know, settling for the, you know, not even plan B, it's like plan F.
Yeah.
It's like 3 hours away from your dream city or whatever. So, you know.
Were there many Asians in Columbia, South Carolina?
You know what?
Oh, is it because of the university?
When I went to the Chinese church, Oh, okay. Let me catch. I'm trying to catch it. I was surprised. There's a bit of Chinese communities there. You know, Asian community. I know when I went to seminary, what's next to the seminary is a private school, and they, you know,
What is it?
and they sent some of the people from overseas are from China and South Korea and
Yeah.
other 8 Far East countries. You know, they don't live there, but you know you get those folks, and then there's that Chinese community that actually lives there. You know, it's to be honest, I think it's as equal as Lexington's,
I think so.
or maybe more. Cause I went to a conference.
Yeah, it's a bigger city.
You know, because I went to the conference this year, and you get to see, you know, the regional, you know, so you get to see some folks from Charleston and Charlotte and other places, and the North Carolina, South Carolina, possibly Georgia region or that area,
Right.
and you know, there's more Asians than folks may know that's in that city, you know,
Yeah.
and their children or they themselves are born here,
Right.
and they're into that culture. One guy, he was from, I forgot. I know he went to school somewhere. I forgot where he went, but he's in Atlanta right now, and he noticed the differences in Atlanta. I was talking to him about like how I see the difference between the culture of the youth compared to the culture of the adults,
Yeah.
where the adults will speak to the children in their language,
Yep.
but the children will respond in English. Like, man, I'm like, can you like, why not? I always ask, why not respond in the language?
Yeah.
You know?
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Very
interesting. It's like somebody from Mexico speaks to somebody in Spanish, and
And then the children speak
respond
English.
in like Midwest English.
Yeah.
Like, that's a shock to me. So, but then again, in America, our parents will like speak to us and how they spoke back then, and we'll respond in how we speak.
Yeah.
But we do need to help the Chinese students, especially the ones who take like 14 classes a day.
Are you serious?
And China, yes. I don't think it's 14 classes a day, but
14 credits.
or because I asked somebody online through QQ, I'm like, how many classes do you take a day? Like, how many classes you have a day? And they said like a number over 10. Oh man, and I was stunned because I'm like, really? Like, and I was like, name them.
They're in China?
Yes, but I was kind of confirmed about that, but it was confirmed through South Korean student, because I was telling him how I knew that Chinese, and then I asked him about the difference between South Korean school and the school in America. His friend turned around and looked at me with that "it's so hard" look. South Korea has hard school too, I guess. With the way he looked at me, I was like, man, it must be tough in South Korea.
Pressure.
There's so much pressure, you know, and I would rather help the students in China get an identity, you know.
You know, you can teach English as a second language easily, brother.
Yeah, you know.
Either privately, or if you want to travel, let's say you go to South Korea for just several months, you can teach English.
I almost thought about it,
Oh, really?
like after I graduated, but I didn't.
Do you know Whitney Evans?
No, I don't.
She goes to our church, the African American girl from North Carolina. She's in South Korea now. I think you know her. You just don't.
I don't know
remember.
Whitney.
Whitney. Okay. She teaches English.
I
South
know
Korea
that.
now.
I almost thought about. I would have had to call and ask, like, what's
Process. Yeah.
what's the process of it, and
Yeah,
things
actually,
like,
the money's pretty good.
how much do I have to pay to get there?
Yeah, I would just tickets.
Cause that would have been my job after. It probably would have been my job after college, but
Yeah, and
you know, answer the call to preach. So
there you go. You
guess
can
what?
share the word.
So guess what? I'm going to seminary.